Yes, people, Manscaped is back, but this time it's not for below the belt grooming. Manscaped brings to you the Beard Hedger, the best product on the market when it comes to beard trimmers. The Beard Hedger is unique due to its number of gradient settings. As someone who's purchased this, I won't turn to any other beard trimmer. Check it out for yourself at manscaped.com. And don't forget to use code FTM20 to get 20% off of this product.
Yes, people, how are we doing? Good morning. Hope you're all well. Great to see so many of you in the chat, all buzzing. I'm a little bit tired. Got in quite late last night. Did a show. Didn't get to bed until about, the early hours, around about 1 a.m.-ish. And just couldn't sleep. Got up around about 5:30 and thought, what is going on here? But got a little bit of sleep, got up and thought, I better not be late for this one. I'm only, 5 to 8 minutes late. Going to happen, I'm afraid, last night. Went to the game. Going to talk about that a little bit later on. Going to talk about Arsenal rumours as well. Going to talk about Liverpool today. Going to talk about what might be happening with Kieran Tierney. Going to talk a little bit about what's going on with West Ham, who are very active this window, to be fair to them, and what's going to be happening with Chalaboh, and also some Manchester United news as well. Please make sure you do me a favour and hit a like on this video. Please make sure you've subscribed to the channel if you are new. Please also make sure that you do me a favour and click join if you do want to become a member. We're starting to get more members now on the channel, which is great to see. So please, if you do want to be a member, all you've got to do is click like, subscribe and join. You can do so. Please make sure you check out Manscaped. This deal is not on for much longer, so please do make sure that you do not miss it out. All you've got to do is click on the link. It will take you to the website. You click Beard and Face, Beard Hedger, add it to your cart. You'll see that 20% has come off. So please make sure that you do that. Use the link though, people, so that you do get the 20%. If you do get any problems with it, just use FTM20 and you'll get 20% off using that code. So please make sure that you get involved in that, people. Let's say good morning to the chat room. So many of you here, which is great to see. Good morning to Mike. Good morning to Boss Bula, Dan, Emerson, Victor, Nuances of Fate, Youth, Carol, Martin, Ebby, Mum, Martin, Steve, Elwood. Who else have we got? Sarah, hope you're well, darling. S.A. Scouser, Mansa, and everybody else that I've missed. And all of you that's watching on catch-up as well. Big up to all of you. Absolutely brilliant to see you here so early. And thank you so much. We're getting unbelievable views on this show now. And obviously people are starting to get interested in it as the transfer window hots up. And that's exactly what it's starting to do. It is starting to get very, very interesting. Liverpool being very interested in players again for the first time this window. So let's see what happens there. We're going to start with the show. And we are going to start with Liverpool because there are a lot of reports suggesting that Martin Zubimendi is on his way to Liverpool. Now, it's not a done deal. It doesn't look like this one has been completed, but apparently, according to Ornstein, it's very close. And according to Real Sociedad, they are pretty much happy to accept this deal. Now, don't worry, it doesn't look like this means that Mikel Marino will not go to Arsenal before everybody starts getting throwing a meltdown. It looks like they're going to lose both these players. Now, Arsenal have been linked with him, to be fair, and I believe there's a release clause of around about £50 million. Now, he walks into the Liverpool side and makes it better. And if I'm honest with you, him and McAllister are very good midfielders for Liverpool, and that improves them 100%. I look at what Szoboszlai is doing at the moment. He ain't for me. I mean, he ain't for me. I don't get what he does, really, apart from shooting from 25 yards and missing. I don't really understand what he does. So he has to have a better season. But listen, Zubimendi will be a very good signing for Liverpool. David Ornstein has stated that he thinks this one will probably happen. And Real Sociedad are willing to let him go, which is crazy because it looked like he was going to stay at Real Sociedad. It did not look like this one was going to happen because Arsenal pulled out because they did not believe that he was going to be available. Now, the Athletic are reporting through David Ornstein that Sociedad expect Martin Zubimendi to accept the move to Liverpool. According to the Sociedad sources, the clubs would still need to agree a fee unless they decide to trigger the €60 million release clause, which needs to be paid in full. So I don't know what that is in pounds. I guess it's around about 53 million pounds, something like that. So just over 50 million pounds if Liverpool want to get the release clause. I think he's going to cost that, isn't he? Let's be real. He's probably going to cost that anyway. He's a player who is very highly rated. I know that he didn't do much in the Euros because Rodri was playing. You can't get in front of Rodri. He's the best in the world. But when he did come on, he did look very good. And he's a player that I think will definitely improve Liverpool. Liverpool have needed a 6 for about 3 years now. And this is a very, very smart signing if this one goes through. So fair play to Liverpool, because I do believe that they've got an opportunity here to actually improve their midfield. And it's something that Slot, I mean, I know he plays similarly to Klopp. He's nowhere near Klopp level, but the style of football is very similar in terms of the high intensity and the pressure that they play with. But I do believe Zubimendi is going to absolutely transform that midfield. I think he would be a phenomenal signing. I think Liverpool fans should be very, very excited by that, in my opinion. They're also linked with Maximilian Berger. Now, he is a player that a lot of clubs are chasing. They are still interested, Liverpool, in the Germany and Hoffenheim forward, but the 21-year-old wants to join Dortmund, and he is in talks with the Bundesliga club. Now, Sky Germany are reporting that Berger would prefer to stay in Germany and move over to Borussia Dortmund. Obviously, Liverpool are being heavily linked with him. It'd be a fantastic signing for him. I've got a lot of time for what I'm hearing about Maximilian Berger. Not seen a lot from him. You've seen the usual clips. You go and look and see what you can spot from the talent that people are talking about, and he does look like a good forward and can play across the front three. So for me, very, very good signing if Liverpool can get this one done, but it looks like Dortmund are favourites, and he would prefer a move to Dortmund and stay in Germany. So maybe Zubimendi's on his way, but not much else happening as far as Liverpool are concerned. Liverpool need some players. Liverpool for me can actually title challenge this season if they get the right players. Like, I really believe that, and I feel personally like if they was to look at their centre back situation, Zubimendi, maybe look at another midfielder who's potentially more creative. Definitely a number 9, because Nunez isn't good enough and Jota's made of glass. They're the 3 positions, I think. And then they only really need to replace anyone that's leaving. So if Diaz goes, then maybe Maximilian Berger would come in, or somebody on the left would come in. I know they're linked with Anthony Gordon, which I think would be an extreme amount of money to spend for Liverpool. But Liverpool ain't far away. They really ain't. They do not need loads and loads and loads. So let's see where we're at there. That's Liverpool. Let's move to West Ham, because West Ham are very, very active this window. And at the moment, they have now put their sights on Kieran Trippier, who looks set to be leaving Newcastle. Now, apparently, according to reports this morning from the Telegraph, West Ham are interested in the right back, with a 33-year-old's future at Newcastle yet to be decided. Now, there were rumours that he was going to be heading over to Saudi, but it doesn't look like that is happening right now. Certainly, the interest has cooled. And West Ham are looking at a right back. Now, they tried to get Mazraoui. He looks like he's on the way to Manchester United. They're looking to get Aaron Wan-Bissaka. They thought that deal was done, but Wan-Bissaka is demanding that Manchester United pay him off if he wants to leave. Therefore, West Ham are struggling to get that one across the line. So therefore, they're looking at Kieran Trippier. Now, Kieran Trippier, let's be real, is a player who's got an unbelievable amount of experience. Will be a very, very good signing for West Ham. But does he want to go to West Ham? Does he want to leave Newcastle and go to West Ham? Would that be a downward step, or would he prefer to go and get money over in Saudi Arabia? I don't know that I can see this one getting across the line for West Ham. I think they'll end up getting Wan-Bissaka eventually. That's what I think will happen, a bit more negotiating, and Wan-Bissaka will be their guy, in my opinion anyway. That's what I think will happen. So, yeah, let's see what happens with Kieran Trippier. It could be an interesting one for sure. So let's see. Sticking with West Ham, though, there's another couple of players they're linked with. Yesterday, I said to you that they were linked with Matt Hummels. Now, I think Hummels will be looking at a club that he is comfortable at, whether that is in London or whether it stays in Germany. We don't know. There's a lot of clubs interested in him. Brighton are very much interested in Matt Hummels as well. As I said yesterday, 35-year-old as well now. I mean, he's an absolute experienced head, isn't he? And Sky Sports are suggesting that after leaving Borussia Dortmund, he's now a free agent, and there are clubs very much interested. And it looks like West Ham are one of them. But West Ham are also interested. We heard previously in Todibo, looks like he might be on the way to Juventus. Also Tomori, who at the moment looks like he's staying put. And they're also interested in Chelsea centre-half Trevor Chalaboh. Now, there is quite a lot of interest, apparently, in the English 26-year-old centre-half. Trevor Chalaboh has been one of Chelsea's better defenders, if I'm honest, in the last couple of years. I can't believe that they're looking to get rid of him. It is crazy. Gallagher has been one of their better midfielders in the last couple of years in terms of his work rate. Trevor Chalaboh has been one of their best centre-halves in terms of consistency. What is going on? They're getting rid of both of them and replacing them with, well, who? Like youngsters again. Very, very bizarre. I don't know what's happening at Chelsea, but I can't tell you how long may it continue. It's a shambles. So West Ham interested. Crystal Palace also very interested here. So watch what happens with Trevor Chalaboh, because they reckon he's around about £25 million, which for a 26-year-old centre half is probably not horrendous. But let's be real, could potentially do better with that money. But listen, that's what's happening at the moment. Crystal Palace and West Ham very much interested in Trevor Chalaboh. Let's move to Manchester United, because Sander Berger is obviously a player that was linked yesterday, as I've suggested. And Manchester United are looking to try and tempt the Burnley and Norway midfielder, who's 26 years old, to Old Trafford by offering him a contract on £100,000 a week. That is a lot of money for a player who, let's be real, has done very well in the Premier League. 26 years old, he's a Norway international, plays with Berger and Haaland. He's definitely a player that Burnley and Sheffield United respect. But let's be real, at Manchester United, it's a very, very different place to play your football. It is a big step up. Could he do it? Well, I think he's got the ability to do it. Whether he's got the experience or not to do it, I'm not so sure. But we'll have to see. They definitely want him. Burnley, I imagine, will probably be selling him because he's now in the Championship. I don't think he wants to stay there. So for me, I think Manchester United could be the place that he goes. And Sander Berger will be added to a midfield that has Kobbie Mainoo and Bruno Fernandes. They are still linked, of course, no longer with Manuel Ugarte. It looks like now they are looking at a couple of different options. Fofana being one of them, Sander Berger being another, obviously Amrabat being another. I just can't help but think that Manuel Ugarte was better than all of them. But that's for me. David De Gea, let's stick with Manchester United. Obviously, he's a free agent, no longer at the club. But apparently, Fiorentina are interested in signing David De Gea. And it looks as if this could be a potential move. Fiorentina have been in contact over a potential deal with David De Gea, who is now 33 years old. That is reports over in Italy. This would be an easy free transfer. The only problem you've got with David De Gea is his wages. Otherwise, I'll be looking all over this if Ramsdale went, because that is a perfect experienced head to come in as backup. And people might think he's washed and he can't play with his feet and all that. Yeah, we're talking about a top shot stopper here who got Golden Glove when he last played football for Manchester United. And as long as he's kept himself fit, that's a really good backup option for a team, if I'm honest with you. So let's see where he goes. It will be interesting to see. That's for sure. I always rated David De Gea, if I'm honest. I know that he definitely was in a decline as a footballer. I totally understand that. I totally get that. But for me, a good goalkeeper and one that will be a good signing for a team. So watch this space. Let's talk about Crystal Palace quickly, because they are once again linked with Wilf Zaha. Could you imagine if he goes there again for a third stint? But Palace want to re-sign him for a third time after Galatasaray told the 31-year-old forward he's free to speak to other clubs. That's according to the Telegraph. Who's interested in Wilf Zaha? I don't think it will be just Crystal Palace. At 31 years old, he's got a couple of years left, in my opinion, at the very top level. Premier League is definitely some league that he's suited. I thought he was a very good player and one that definitely shouldn't have moved to Man United. He moved there way too early, in my opinion. I thought he was easily Crystal Palace's best player for the best part of 2-3 years. And if Elise has gone, they're obviously trying to bring their guy back. Now, he's obviously gone over to Galatasaray, realised the grass ain't always greener, and maybe he wants to come back and return to Crystal Palace. He will go down as like one of the best ever Crystal Palace players anyway. And if he goes back for a third time, he probably will take that crown. So for me, Zaha, probably favourites to go to Crystal Palace. Would anyone else want him? Would Spurs want him? Would Chelsea want him? Would there be perhaps a club like Liverpool that come in for him that need a winger if Diaz was to go? Listen, Zaha's no muppet. Do you know what I mean? Zaha's a very good player and one that did score a few goals for Crystal Palace. So let's see what happens there. The other player they're linked with, of course, they're linked with centre-backs after Mark Gare. He looks like he's on his way out, leaving for Newcastle. They're linked with Trevor Chalaboh, as I've spoken about previously. They're also linked with the Wolfsburg centre-half, Maxence Lacroix. Now, Maxence Lacroix, or Lacroix, if you say it in the French accent. Maxence Lacroix is a centre-half from Wolfsburg that they are interested in. Now, Chelsea were looking around him as well. Not a centre-half I know a lot about, but someone that Crystal Palace are keeping an eye on. And it looks like they could be in for the centre-half to replace Mark Gare if they can't get Trevor Chalaboh over the line, who's also linked with West Ham. So let's see how serious Crystal Palace are about this. All I will say is Dougie Friedman has done some unbelievable business in terms of Crystal Palace's scouting. The scouting has been phenomenal. I have to say, if you look at Elise, you look at Eze, you look at Adam Wharton, you look at Mateta, the players that they've got in, I mean, fair play. Like, honestly, fair play. It's been quite impressive as far as I'm concerned. So, I expect that to be one that they could potentially get across the line. I do quite like what I'm seeing at Crystal Palace's scouting. I must say that. I think Brighton as well over the years have been a club that have respected scouting, but look at what Palace have done in the last few with their, Eze and Elise from the Championship and Adam Wharton from the Championship. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Let's talk about this guy because apparently Berger is on the move. Now, the Chelsea and Albanian striker will hold talks with the manager to figure out his future. Everton and Wolves are among those interested in the 22-year-old. So that could be very interesting. Watch what happens with Berger. He's a player that was at Southampton and actually looked okay, didn't he? Do you know what I mean? He looked okay. I didn't look at him and think, wow, at all, but because he didn't really score that many goals. It wasn't really a player I looked at and thought, wow, you're going to take this to the next level, this team. But at the same time, I did think that he was actually an all right player. Would he do well at Everton and Wolves? Well, I mean, he's got potential. He went to Fulham, didn't he? And he didn't really do very well, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know what people's thoughts were of Fulham fans. I know we get a few Fulham fans that listen here, but I didn't think he was outstanding. But certainly, as far as I'm concerned, he would be an okay player for Everton or Wolves, and probably look to get them firing. But they definitely need some firepower. Let's be real. Everton and Wolves aren't teams that have at the moment goal scorers, do they? I mean, they're still relying on Calvert-Lewin. So let's see what happens. Berger looks to be on the move. Certainly not got a future at Chelsea. Let's go to Southampton, who are receiving offers for this guy. Berger. He is a player that I actually really rate. He was a player I really thought was going to do well and was probably going to get a move before now. At the moment, they're rejecting bids. Southampton have received an offer from Hoffenheim for the 22-year-old defender Berger. The Saints have already rejected 8.6 million from Stuttgart. So they've also now received an offer from Hoffenheim. I imagine that Berger does want to leave Southampton. However, they've got to go for the right price. And Southampton will want to keep him. I mean, he's their best defender, isn't he? Let's be real. Last season, to get them up, he was massively key, as well as you've got, what's his name? Flynn Downs in the middle, who had a good season for Southampton, who's now signed from West Ham. So I think Southampton, probably everyone's favourites to go back down. They want to be keeping hold of players like this, that's for sure. So watch this space. Some interesting news as far as Leicester are concerned that is massively, massively linked to Arsenal Football Club. They are now linked with Steven Bergwijn. Leicester have made an inquiry with Ajax over the availability of the 26-year-old. He is, of course, the Netherlands forward, Steven Bergwijn. That has come from Fabrizio Romano. So if this is the case and Leicester are looking at him, what does this now mean for the deal with Reiss Nelson? Now, we all know that they've been interested in Reiss, and we want to see Reiss go and play first-team football and get the correct money for him. They are asking for a loan with an obligation. That is what they were asking for. And it looks as if that obligation fee is something that we're still trying to negotiate. It's not something at the moment that Leicester apparently can afford. And this has come from Rob Tanner over at Leicester. A source at Leicester suggests that Reiss Nelson was a player that Leicester had inquired about, but it quickly became apparent that he would be beyond their budget. Now, we're trying to push for around 25 million. It looks like they don't want to pay much more than between 10 and 15 million on a loan of obligation. Leicester obviously haven't got their massive amount of money, and they're trying to get him. And it looks now that Leicester have moved away from Reiss Nelson and are now looking at this winger, Steven Bergwijn, instead. What is happening at Arsenal? Why can we not get rid of these players? I did say, why are we putting people like Reiss Nelson on 100k a week? Because they'll be very, very difficult to sell. And it seems that way. Unbelievable. What else is happening? Well, it looks as if Eddie Nketiah is in the same boat. He's a player that is stuck at Arsenal at the moment that did come on last night, which we're going to talk about very soon. And it looks like he's stuck now as well. According to Santi, sources on AFC stuff, Arsenal are showing themselves to be more reasonable in letting Eddie Nketiah leave the club. They're opening the door for Marseille, who now must decide whether to proceed with the deal for the player or not. Basically, what they're saying is, we want 30, we want 35. And then when they realise actually they're not going to want this guy, we've now gone, oh, okay, do you want to come back? Because we kind of need to sell him. Poor, if I'm honest with you. Should definitely have said that we want to accept your offer of 27 million euros, which is 24 million pounds. We think that is a fair deal considering Smith-Rowe was 27, and we go from there. We are not going to get 40 million for Eddie Nketiah. Anybody who believes that are deluded. Name me a club that wants to pay 40 million pounds for Eddie Nketiah, and we'll go and talk to him. Because Fulham won't, Wolves won't, Nottingham Forest won't, Brentford won't. None of these players will. So unless we want to go and do something with Brentford and say, here you go, you need a striker, have Eddie, we'll pay you this much money plus Eddie and you give us Tony, I don't think Eddie Nketiah is leaving. So we need to try and get Marseille to try to compromise. And if we can't do that, Eddie Nketiah is going to end up staying at Arsenal, which is poor. That's the way I see it. So I don't think we can be, picky about this one. We've got to be realistic. I just find it frustrating, if I'm honest with you. I really do. So let's see what happens. Also, news on Mikel Marino. We're dying for news on this one to get done, aren't we? Obviously, yesterday I reported that there are suggestions that there's negotiations on how much the club owes him still, which is 5 million euros. They're saying that Arsenal should be paying that 5 million euros as part of the transfer fee, and it will cost around about 25 million euros. Arsenal are now negotiating that again. Oh, this one's taking forever, isn't it? They say it's around 30 million euros in total. Let's just pay it and get it done then, And I have so many people in the comment section yesterday. Oh, I'm glad you don't run Arsenal. You'd have us bust. What, by paying £5 million more? Are you all accountants? Are you that strict with it? Trust me, it is not that difficult. We are talking about millions of pounds here. We're not saying, well, I don't know why Edu don't just go and spend 100 million on Isak. I don't get it. And then go and spend 100 million on Gyökeres. Then we've got two brilliant strikers there and we're fine. Yeah, I'd understand that we might be bankrupt there. We are talking about a Calafiori deal that we were negotiating over a few million. And now we're talking about Mikel Marino, who we're negotiating over a few million. We're talking about Eddie Nketiah, who we're trying to get a few £1 million more for. Let's just get this done. Well, there's no more time. There is 9 days until we play Wolves. 9 days until the season starts. And we're mucking around. Come on, man. Wake up, fans. Please, wake up. According to reports, Arsenal remain very interested in Mikel Marino, and Arsenal remain Mikel Marino's most likely destination. It is likely that a move will materialise in the coming days. We've heard that before. Arteta's personally endorsed the transfer, while Marino has discarded other clubs that were interested in signing this summer. So it looks very positive that this one's going to get done. It is just, again, negotiating over a fee, looking at the personal terms that are now done. So now this one just needs to be announced. Arsenal 100% need to go and get this one done. And I hope that they will. Mikel Marino needs to be an Arsenal player. We need a number 8. We've got our left back. We need our left number 8. And then we've got Rice in the 6. And then Martinelli can flourish. Trossard can do his thing. And then it's all on what we do up top. At the moment, there are absolutely no rumours or reports this morning on Gyökeres. No rumours or reports that I can see around Osimhen. No rumours about any other forward or winger. After Yilmaz, it's gone quiet. I don't know how heavy that one is. Very, very weak, I would suggest. Very, very similar to Bakayoko, who were linked with the PSV 21-year-old. I would not want either of those. It needs to be a player that we go, wow, that is a moment's player. That's definitely improved us. We know now who is going to be on that right-hand side with Saka. It's going to be X. And I hope it's a Leroy Sané or an Eze or a Pedro Neto. I really do. I don't want it to be one of these young kids who's going to come in from Brazil and try and compete with Saka. We did that with Marquinhos. It didn't work. So for me, that's what needs to happen. But first of all, I honestly believe we need to try and get rid of Reiss Nelson and Eddie Nketiah. And Jacob Kivior, I believe, is another player. They're the 3 that I think will go. So let's watch this space. 2 more players that are linked with moves away. Aaron Ramsdale linked with Wolves yesterday morning. I don't know how true that one is. A lot of clubs in the Premier League, though, are chasing him, and they all want him on loan. Now, this PSR has definitely caused problems because people now just want to loan with an obligation. That's all they want. Now, I've got no problem with an obligation. What I have got a problem with is with an option to buy, because I don't think we should be allowing Aaron Ramsdale to be going to Premier League clubs as a try before you buy. It needs to be, we're getting this guy on loan and we're going to have to pay an obligation of £30 million for him. That's the deal that needs to get done. And if that deal does not materialise, he stays at Arsenal. And people think it's harsh. Oh, it's out of order on Ramsdale. This is Arsenal. We need a top goalkeeper. And we've got 2 of them. So let's keep them. unless someone comes in with the right money. I am not selling Aaron Ramsdale for less than £30 million. It's ridiculous. And people think, oh, that's really, really harsh on him. Maybe, but this is football. This was Arteta's idea. Have a go at Arteta, not Ramsdale. That's what I think anyway. Aaron Ramsdale, for me, 100% needs to try and get first-team football somewhere. I totally appreciate that. But at the same time, Arsenal need to keep hold of two good goalkeepers. The idea was to bring two in, right? If we get rid of Ramsdale, that leaves us with David Raya with Cole Hyde gone as well and Okonkwo gone to Wrexham. That's literally it. So let's be real. Excuse me. I need a drink and I haven't got one. So let's be real. Like Aaron Ramsdale should be going nowhere unless the right money comes in for him. Another player linked with a move away today. I do not understand this rumour. It's Kieran Tierney. I do not understand it because it looks like TalkSport have kind of got their wires wrong. Hit crossed here. I'll read out the report. It says Arsenal defender Kieran Tierney was left off the Gunners squad list in the programme for their game against Bayer Leverkusen. Amid rumours, the 27-year-old Scotland left-back is set to leave for Real Sociedad. Now, the reason he was left out is because he's injured. Now, I know they're saying he's left out the back of the programme. Well, maybe they've just decided that he's going. But, I mean, it is odd to leave him out completely. But it looks as if he's leaving, but he's injured. I mean, who is going to buy him now? He's injured, they reckon, until around January. So it's a player that I really like and I got a lot of time for. Now, a lot of people might look at Kieran Tierney's situation and think it's horrendous because he's always injured. There's a lot of fans that are very much against Kieran Tierney because he is an injury-prone player. And I can totally get that. But then in the same breath, you look at injured players like Zinchenko, Jesus and Tomiyasu that have actually spent more time on the sidelines than Kieran Tierney. Thomas Partey can be thrown into that mix as well. And everybody wants to keep those four. Now, I'm not saying we should keep Kieran Tierney because I don't think his future is at Arsenal. Mikel Arteta certainly doesn't want him. Mikel Arteta doesn't see him as an inverted left-back. But actually, he's one of the best defensive left-backs that we've got at the club. And it's crazy for me that we are not giving what I think is a top player a chance at the club. Now, I'm saying this because I like him a lot. And people will say, Kieran Tierney's washed. What are you talking about? Get rid of him. He's awful. He has got injured a lot, as has Tomiyasu. Those sort of players, for me, are the sort of players that you have to look at very carefully. But at the same time, look at the quality of them. I don't think we have an overlapping left back. I don't think we have one that can cross balls in. I don't think we have one other than Calafiori and Timber maybe now that can absolutely one-on-one defend. Zinchenko is nowhere near as good at left back as Kieran Tierney. But Kieran Tierney is the guy that they're trying to get out. Now, I understand if the kid's injured, he's got to go. But I will be sad to see him go. Because when he came on the scene, I thought this kid was going to be absolutely brilliant. Maybe he needs to go back to Celtic. Maybe he needs to go back where he's loved. Maybe he needs to go back where he feels settled. At 27 years old, though, he's a youngster, really. He's not a player that at 27 you think, oh my God, he's only got a couple of years left. He's got a real good, 5 years at the top of his game? I honestly believe that if you look at what Kieran Tierney can offer, he's better than Zinchenko. He's better than Kivior defensively and as a left back. And although people are saying we don't need another left back, actually, if Tomiyasu's made of glass and Kieran Tierney's made of glass, then maybe we'll end up keeping both of them. Kieran Tierney at the moment isn't going anywhere because he's injured. Now, unless there's some form of medical they can do while his leg's in a sling or whatever it be, or a cast, then maybe they know something I don't. But personally, I believe that Kieran Tierney could be a part of the Arsenal squad. And, I was speaking to James about this at AFTV, and he thinks that there could be a potential for Kieran Tierney to still actually stay at Arsenal, and Arteta might have plans for him. Watch this space. What is going to happen with Kieran Tierney? If I had to have my honest money put in on it, I think he's probably going to leave the club. But there's still a place for him at Arsenal, in my opinion, in the squad, because I think he's a top talent. I really do. Let's talk about last night, because it was all about this guy coming back to Arsenal. Granit Xhaka, you see him there hugging Mikel Arteta, and it wasn't the best return for him, if I'm honest, as far as Bayer Leverkusen were concerned. We absolutely funked them. Found ourselves 3-0 up in the first half. It was a really good performance from Arsenal from the off. We definitely looked fitter. We definitely looked sharper. And make sure you do me a favour and check out my fan cam from last night on this channel, because I discussed the players I was interested in and the players that I was really, really impressed by. And I think there was quite a few. Two of them were substitutes. These two kids, Lewis Skelly and Ethan Nwaneri, they are going to make it at Arsenal. Let me tell you that. And I know we've said this before about Eddie and about Reece and about Dan Crowley and about J. Emmanuel Thomas, but I feel different with these two. I think what I've been impressed for, I can't give compliments enough to Lewis Skelly for the position he's playing in at the moment and willing to learn, willing to be educated, playing a different position at left back. He is obviously a midfielder. A lot of time for him. A lot of time for him on the ball. Very comfortable. Very good moving the ball forward. Very confident and easy. Understood where his teammates were. Looked at his position and thought it was great. I really was impressed. Really was impressed. But I was even more impressed with the kid next to him. Ethan Nwaneri is going to make it at Arsenal. Trust me, you heard it here first. We knew as a 15-year-old when he came on at Brentford a couple of years ago that Arteta rated him. Last season, he was getting little bit part players here and there, playing in friendlies, playing in the youth team. And I thought, yeah, he's the next one to come through. And you can see why. This pre-season, he's been my favourite player to watch. Everything about him looks exciting. He's comfortable on the ball. He's got that left foot like that Ødegaard foot where it's just got a great way to pass. He looks to play similar to mould to him. And I think he can play alongside him as well. I really do. In the games that perhaps we don't need to be as defensively stable, where we put Rice there, perhaps against Ipswich, Southampton, Leicester at home. Also, those sort of games, I'd love to see if Nwaneri in that 8 with Ødegaard to see what he does there, because I believe he's got a really, really good future in the game. And I'm excited that it's going to be with Arsenal because he looks really enthusiastic, really, really exciting, and looks comfortable on the ball and really confident on the ball. And what I liked is when something doesn't come off for the player, his head don't go down. He just carries on. He keeps his head up and he goes and wins the ball back. And I just love that about a player. The tenacity of him and the fact that he's got a never say die attitude. He's really resilient. And Lee Judges has met him and said he's a wonderful kid as well. Wonderful kid. So I must say I was very impressed by those two. I thought they had very, very good games. And I have to say I was really impressed with the performance. I thought Jesus looked sharp. He was one of my favourite players of the night. Trossard was my favourite player of the night. I thought he was absolutely outstanding in terms of his quick feet. I thought he was excellent. Kai Havertz obviously getting his goal. A lot of people thought he was man of the match, by the way, and I thought that was very, very surprising. I didn't see enough from Kai to believe that he got man of the match performance. That was very, very surprising. I saw in some polls that people were saying that he was man of the match. I didn't get that one personally. Ødegaard was beautiful to watch. Absolute magician, wand of a left foot. So we had a really good game. And I know by Leverkusen, we can't take much from it because it's like their first or second pre-season game. They're still experimenting and getting back from their summer off. We looked fitter than them. We looked sharper than them. We were more focused. We definitely come out the blocks a lot quicker than they did. And we were all over them in the first half. And Florian Wirtz is their best player, could hardly get on the ball. And when he did get on the ball, nothing was happening for him. Granit Xhaka, not the best of returns for him, but good to see him nonetheless. I think there's a lot of Arsenal fans that appreciated him, give him a standing ovation, which is fair. Last 18 months of the club, I know people are saying that, he doesn't deserve it. I personally don't boo players that have played for the club. But at the same time, I must say that I always had something in the back of my mind when he did that at Crystal Palace and he told everybody to F off. That for me is not what I want to be seeing Arsenal players do. And it always stuck in the back of my mouth. It just left a sour taste in my mouth, really. With Granit Xhaka. I never quite saw him the same again. I never really rated him. I thought he had a good 18 months, but was not fantastic after that. Unfortunately, the system that we play is absolutely perfect in the 8, and it would have been great to stay there with Rice, but unfortunately, we got rid of him, and we're now looking to replace him, it seems, with Mikel Marino. One player I do have to say, though, that I was really disappointed with yet again is Fabio Vieira. I just do not understand what this player does. He's really weak. I don't think he's good enough. He doesn't have the strength to play in this league. He's definitely not a right winger, that's for sure. I know that Mikel Arteta is trying to see him out there and see if he can cover for Saka. I think he's learned quite quickly that he can't do that. Anything that I've seen from Fabio Vieira, it's been from the left, not the right. And we have enough left wingers. He could play in that left 8 because some of the stuff he's done has been from that position. But I don't think that we need somebody like that playing the left 8. He's not got the physical attributes at all to play in that role. And I don't think he's got the physical attributes to play in his league, if I'm honest with you. I really don't. So I think it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens with Fabio Vieira. He's definitely staying at Arsenal. There's no interest in him. Mikel Arteta wants to keep him, it seems. And unfortunately, we're in a position where he's got to have a good season. And I don't know how he's going to have one. I really don't think he is a player that can come into this side and get the best out of him. So I think it will struggle. I really do. This one's going to be very, very strange because I just don't see this one working out. I hope I'm wrong, guys. I really do. I really hope I'm wrong. But Fabio Vieira is not my sort of player. And I would honestly rather start Ethan Nwaneri now. If Ødegaard got a knock, we had to play someone, it would be Ethan. It would not be Fabio Vieira. That's my honest opinion. So let's see what Arteta can do with him. But for 2 years now, £38 million, it's been a flop. It's been a miss. It's been an L. It's been a player that they'll look at now and say, it ain't going to happen. That's my honest opinion. So let's see what happens. Okay, guys, we're going to leave it there. Absolute legends. Great to see you all in the chat. Please make sure you do me a favor. Make sure you hit the like button and make sure you subscribe. We are at the moment on 400 people here and we haven't even hit 100 likes. Come on, we can do better than that. All we've got to do is hit the like button. It's absolutely free. I don't know why it takes people so long to do it, but please make sure you don't forget to hit the like button and to subscribe to the channel. I don't ask for much, but that's the bare minimum that I ask. If you have enjoyed it, please show your appreciation by hitting the like button and please make sure that you are subscribing to the channel. We're so close now to our next target, which is 30k. Please make sure that we can get this sorted. Much rather we get to 30k this season than the next one. So let's make sure that we can do it. Please make sure you check out Manscaped. That will be in the description as well. All you've got to do is click the link. It will take you straight to the website. Select the beard hedger, add it to your cart, and 20% would have come off. So please make sure that that works. And please let me know once you've done that so that I can ensure that this is working. I'll be back at 1 o'clock, but it won't be on this channel. It'll be on Deluded's channel. I'll be on Deluded Gooner, myself and him talking about all things Arsenal. But I will be back on this channel tonight at 5 p.m. with Tom Canton. So please make sure that you are there for that one. Myself and Tom talking about all things Arsenal, rumours-wise, and also the game last night as well, and what we expect for the season. So that will be a good one at 5 p.m. with myself and Tom. And I'll be over at Lee Judge's channel as well. So please make sure you go over to Lee Judge's TV and make sure you click on subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when we're on. I'm deciding at the moment if we're doing one at 3 or 7. He's got to let me know, but he's probably not up yet, knowing Lee. So I will be over there later on today as well. Probably back this evening with another show. I imagine it will be myself talking all things football. So please let me know. And if you'll be joining me there, and we will see you soon. Take it easy, people. We're out of here. And as always, up the Arsenal. Take care, people.
Yes, people, Manscaped is back. But this time, it's not for below the belt grooming. Manscaped brings to you the Beard Hedger, the best product on the market when it comes to beard trimmers. The Beard Hedger is unique due to its number of gradient settings. As someone who's purchased this, I won't turn to any other beard trimmer. Check it out for yourself at manscaped.com. And don't forget to use code FTM20 to get 20% off of this product.